Hey, welcome. Whoa. We clear. Hey, welcome to the Psy Tai Podcast with your host, Santa. Happy to be here. Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight special, whatever time is coming at y'all. Let's cue this intro. Hey, like I said, just tainow, a place where we combine our mind with our heart, see what our gut mind is saying, and let whatever come out, come on out. Just tainow, just think about it. T-H-I, T-A-I, not T-H-I like the food, but we just as spicy. Y'all get the flow. I was actually working on this awesome thing right before I went live, so I'm a play it. I was messing around with Ableton. Having some fun. And came across a little thing like this. Look. Real quick. Just tainow, combine your mind with your heart, see what your gut mind is saying. Let whatever come out, come on now. Just tainow, combine your mind with your heart. Let's see what we can come up with. Thank y'all for coming on through. Just tainow, combine your mind with your heart, see what your gut mind is saying. Let whatever come out, come on now. Let's do this. Let's delete this so that it can play. Alright, let's chop this up into less slices real quick. There we go. Let's do it like this. Just tainow, love on your mind with your heart, see what you're going, love it, ever come, kind of saying, see what you, mind your mind, alright, let's record a 4-bar real quick. Ever come, come on. By your mind, now, ever, just tainow, ever, with your heart, ever, kind of saying, just, and they're right there. And then I had these keys right here. Add that to it real quick. Ever come now, ever come heart, see what you got, come out, come on now. By your mind, now, ever come ever, just tainow, ever, with your heart, ever, kind of saying, ever come now, ever. All of a sudden, I didn't press record. Ever come now, ever come heart, see what you got, ever come out. By your mind, with your kind of saying, love it, ever come, ever, ever come, by your mind, with kind of saying, love it, ever come, ever, watch this, ever, ever come, by your mind, with your saying, love it, ever come, ever, Hey, Velvet, didn't see you there. Hey, Block, I've been making, alright, I'm gonna stop this right here. I'm gonna save that. I just wanted to make that while we was live, do something fresh, do something different, something you wouldn't even expect. But once again, thanks for coming on through to the Psy Tai Podcast. And what's up, Block? You said if you try and do everything, won't you master nothing? I don't know what you mean by that. If you're talking to me, if you're talking to somebody else, but if for other people out there, if you try to do everything, won't you master nothing? Yeah. But I don't know. It depends on who you are. But I was looking up that phrase a while ago. Jack of all trades. Full saying. And look. This so-called Jack of all trades was in fact William Shakespeare. The full phrase is, a Jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Just tie down. Just think about it. But yeah, it's a good day outside. It's nice. No, yeah. Yeah, we can start the conversation off with that. I mean, we already started, but continue it, Block. Yeah, getting in tone with something that you really love is going to have you stand out from the crowd when you really put in your work. I know exactly what you mean. It fell into the... Let me just sharing this real quick. Live with it. Yeah. And that nothing is done and stuff like that. Nothing gets done properly. And what does properly mean? Like, it's proper in a way where you feel excited about it, or is in a way where you got the business down, like, oh, I wanted to do this for the rest of my life and have my lifestyle based off of this hobby that I have or the skill that I'm developing. I think that when the thing that come up that's going to really develop your life is going to come up, and it's going to be something that you never going to stop, regardless of what else comes up. Regardless. That's why I stick to the computers. I built my first computer when I was in 3rd grade. We took it apart and put it back together. You had to ask my mom, can I stay after school and stuff so I can do? And I was happy, and I remembered that moment. Even right now, I can picture the hallway and everything. And I went down that path too of trying real hard. I thought I was going to be a music producer when I was rapping back in college. Like I'm 29 on Earth time, about to be 30. Back when I was like 18 is when I first started using Ableton. Ableton music production software, and I was taking we asked the music teacher, like, can he do some extra classes to try to come up with something with Ableton, because Ableton was still like fresh on the scene around then. It was known, but like for actually teaching people stuff. So yeah, I've been working with Ableton on and off for a long time. So it's like for me, life is like school. I'm picking up a lot of things along the way, but the thing that's going to carry me through, we going to see. I see that it's the art and 3D animation and stuff like that. Really telling stories. I've always been good at telling a story, digesting it with my feelings and stuff like that, and relating it to a popular event in today's time. He said, master the jab, then you can master the straight, then you can master the hook, then you can master the uppercut, then the shovel punch, then the deep overhand, master the block. Yeah, bro, King, master creator. That's how it is with skateboarding for me. And to put it out there, skateboarding, like you can't, like now I'm starting to kickflip off of ramps and shit like that, and do, like, I'm getting my rail slides in. I'm finally dealing with the rails. That's a whole nother field. But I would have never got anywhere if I ain't start this like years ago. Like I started the same time, like when I was 15 or something like that, or 14, started skateboarding. And now that my mind is even clearer, is paying attention to the steps that's happening and not taking 6 months breaks because of something else going on, and I'm just watching skateboarding on the TV and stuff like that. Like actually being in the field is having me greatly improve as well in this overall life too. I'm meeting people, talking to different people throughout the day, talking about tricks, life, whatever is the experience at the moment calls for, as well as pushing myself, hurting, beating up my body every time I'm there so I could just get off this 6 second trick. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it because it's multiple levels. And back then I was in my mind, like how you said, when you try to do everything, and a lot of people, what they would call have ADHD and stuff like this, have this experience where you try to get into a lot of things, or you get into something real intensely for a little while and then you get out of it and then you get into something else, like something else just sweep you up and stuff like that. And that's going to come because who are we to know what we were even here to put on earth to do? Like to really do, or what just happened. But did you ever break? I'm not trying to drink you, bro, but did you ever break, son, trying to skateboard? Yeah, I broke my toe. My first thing I broke was my toe when I was a teenager, ollieing off a six there. I think I was talking about the last podcast. Then they had to wheel me home, and then I like kind of fractured my shin a long time ago. That caused some damage. Rolled my ankles a couple times. Banged my hip up recently. Had to stop for like 3 days, but I ain't break. The only thing I only broke like that's those stuff. I ain't never break nothing above or like my wrist or nothing. Just like bruised it up and stuff like that. That's why I'm like, I must love it. I know I love it. I know I love it. Just like I love doing the show and creating the art and stuff. Because whatever, because like when people in the house see me on the computer stuff, they say I'm bugged or I need to go do something else with my time. Like you need to go do something else with your time and stuff like that. And I just say because they ain't seeing the fruits. They ain't seeing the fruits of it because the fruits ain't always in the physical yet. And even with the physical, it take a lot of attention to see what's going on the Thai side with how much under the umbrella it is right now. But they be saying I'll be bugged out when I be on the computer for hours because I be real into creating, and I won't stop. Like the animations and stuff like that. I wish I can bring it up, but my computer will kind of freeze if I try to bring up some like the process. But I will not stop until like it is done. It is done. I'll look up a million videos to figure out how to do one thing. I'll watch it 5 times until I get it, until it makes sense to me. And like my brain and my thoughts start imagining how to do shit and put it together. So like go with that feeling, I'm saying. Go with that feeling. That's what I'm doing. Talking to myself out loud. Like if that's dedication. Dedication. That thing that got you bugged. Yeah, you was bit by the bug. Bit by the you got the spidey bite. Now you got now you in a whole nother world. You got a whole nother set of existences. I mean experiences, how you experience your senses. Because your world is based off your senses and how you interacted with your senses. So if you're changing your senses, it's basically a new reality. Or an upgrade, update or something. Hey, King, you said rolling that ankle hurts. Although I had that happen off of walking into a pothole in the street. I ain't see. Damn, that seemed like a cartoon. Oh, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. But hurting your body is never fun. But it's all in your mind too. On how we even take that pain, take that punishment. Because when I'm skating, I don't I can like it's a it's a fucking piece of wood banging against my shin, my ankle and stuff. While I'm like going real fast. Like now I skate fast. I try to do my tricks fast and stuff all the time because this is like in my mind it's kind of easier. Like it's harder for me to ollie standing still than me to be moving and jumping off of stuff. But oh dang, I had a point. But the way hold on, it's hard for me to talk to myself without with these headphones if I can't really hear myself. This mind thing that's kind of weird. Oh, I was talking about hurting myself. But then I hear too much outside. They got the music blasting. All right, so I would hurt myself real bad. Like the board would bang against myself, but I wouldn't feel the pain. And I'm talking about how we receive pain in our brain, in our minds, and how we interpret it. I would sit for like a couple minutes, like, whew. But then while I'm breathing, all that's going on in my mind is, oh, what if I do this on this ramp? Or, oh, what if I go and do this? And it's wild. It's funny because I won't feel the actual pain until the next day. But in the past and stuff, or if I'm not really involved, if I dwell into that moment so much, I will start feeling the pain instantly, where it would then start forming other thoughts in my mind that then my ego or whatever will start saying, all right, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm about to just go home. Like, all right, this is it. Like, oh, I gotta sit. But my mind, because I wasn't focusing on the pain, it was still focusing on keep going. And I translate that to a lot of other parts of my life as well. To if something is feeling real painful, to not focus on the pain, but focus on what I'm going to keep on doing. What am I going to keep on doing? What did I come here for? That's what it is. To be or not to be. What did I come here to do? I came here to skate, so I'm going to keep on skating. I'll feel the pain the next day, or I'll be able to cope with it, take a day off from the skating and stuff, and replace it with another activity that stimulates and gets my dopamine receptors popping. As well as, yeah, in some form, in some shape or form, physical or internet or something like that. But that's how it's amazing to witness that, because I used to look up to circus freaks and stuff growing up, and how they used their mind to do the things that they did. Not even like just the acrobats and stuff, but the people that would like pierce themselves or do dangerous acts that would be painful. Like if somebody else did, they'd be like, ah, ah. But to them, they like, and they like do some like pierce their face or something like that, or experience some kind of painful activity, but they're smiling or laughing, looking in your face. I'm like, they trained their brain, they had experiences in their mind that allowed them to be able to perform those type of stunts. And I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it in some way. Oh, sorry, Exile, I forgot to open the Discord. Hey, hey,
Yo,
hey, how's it going?
I was just listening to you. It'd be cool to do the suspension, like to get
Oh, the
pierced on the
hooks.
back and then hang.
I used to
That's what
watch that on National Geographic.
you ever done that?
No, I never came close to
That
even seeing it in person.
bro, that's what they do for the sun dances. So on the summer solstice, you'll have Native Americans. I don't know if they do it any other place around the world, but they'll pierce themselves on the chest, and it's a good fucking like inch piercing, like through the flesh on both sides of your upper pectoral muscle. And then they'll suspend themselves either from a tree or from a pole and dance and jump and sing and writhe and until they snap the skin off of the hooks and release themselves from the hook. So that the point is to rip yourself off of the hooks.
You know what it's called? If I was so I could show people a picture.
Sun dancing.
Oh, it's straight up called sun dancing.
But Native Americans, so maybe it's a solar sun, some kind of sun dance. Sun dance. Let me see if I can find a link.
Oh, I found it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring it. I didn't know it
Yeah,
went
bro.
back this far. I only seen people like hippies, what you call hippies, and people that's still alive today do it on TV when I was younger. But I didn't, as you say, part of the Sundance ritual. This where they probably had this. I'm just talking out loud, but they probably had this in their minds and didn't want to talk about it during the show. They just wanted people to freak out. But let me see the good one.
Well, the in some parts of Africa, they build a tower They climb to the top. They make a rope so that if they jump off head first, that their head just barely grazes the ground, and it's bungee jumping with rope. And the tower's like 2 stories tall, sometimes 3 story, maybe, I don't know, 30, or I don't know, 40 feet maybe. I forget what that's called. I used to
Can you
watch
say that? Can you say that
mini.
last part again? Cut off.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was
I
it
gotta
was this
disconnect my phone.
it's like this 20-foot or 30-foot building that they made, these guys in the jungle made, and that they would tie a rope from the top, tie a rope to their feet, and then jump off head first. And the point was to barely graze the ground. So you tied the rope enough to just give yourself enough rope to barely hit the ground, and that's the whole point of the thing. Like I found it on Faces of Death. I used to watch Faces of Death when I was little.
Oh, that's intense. I like it. I like
Intense
it.
is fucking crazy. Yeah, and that was like a coming of age ritual.
Yeah, now the coming of age rituals. Oh no, no, no. Woo! I'm sorry, that coughing was for a reason. I had some ethanol, alcohol. It was an incense that was sitting right next to the bottle. And when I started coughing,
Oh,
I looked over there. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I do not want that to happen at all. Not even just on camera. Science experiments. Uh-oh. I'm a scientist. But, yeah, the ritual. What was the last thing you said? I'm sorry, that threw me off. Trying not to
well,
burn the room down.
that fucking bungee, the rope bungee cord. It's not even a bungee. The rope cord that they bungeed with was a coming of age ritual.
Yeah. Yeah, the coming of age rituals, I was going through that in my mind. They are always so fantastic and like so related to the physical as opposed to what people would think it is, like with visionary journeys and stuff like that. Like they still suffering. He's out there for a week, weeks at a time. And then if like I'm thinking, yeah, what you were saying about the bungee cord and going through a ritual of pain and stuff like that. And the reason I could come up with my own reasons for it. I'm just thinking of like connecting the body to the mind in those moments. Like this is pain. Like
Right.
we feel so alive when the body is going through stress, like something that it didn't just go through last week when it was chilling. And in those moments we find a lot of ourselves, like moms and stuff. The famous example of moms picking up cars with the
Right.
adrenaline rush that happened because they body just feeling this rapid emotions and then having a chemical reaction based off of it, like with the pain and everything. It's stuff. And then the for the person going through it, it's up to them to find that place in their mind where that they know that they believe the elders is talking about or told them that they'll be able to reach, instead of like staying in that place like, these niggas just stabbed me, like, I'm bleeding, what, it's like, nah, that's just the body, and the body gonna heal up. Time keeps going, and you're gonna reach a place if you just let yourself go, like I said, lose yourself to find yourself. Like who would put who would sign themselves up for that unless they was trying to lose themselves? But
And that's a
yeah,
forceful action. It's a it's a it's a it's a what oxymoron, right? A forceful surrender.
yeah, forceful surrender. And Yuel adding a thing to the mix. Hey Yuel, he said all as people lost the entheogens, they look for ways to get closer to death without dying. Yeah, they really did. Put saying, hey, we're human, but we once experienced something in our mind states, and the people like the priest or whatever that carried down the select class of people I could see in my mind that was using the entheogens or the families that were, and then didn't tell the other families about it as the ages passed on. Like started seeing that, probably started seeing it as an experiment that worked, or as an experiment in the human experience. Like, well, if you do this to yourself, because this kinda, I felt like this during my experience. Felt like I was being stabbed and ripped apart. So so then
Right.
they probably like enacted it in the physical, and then like as traditions passed on, they started finding safer ways to do it, or more accomplished ways, like more like at the end the person came out with like a resurrected feeling and then had to get over the scars. Like, oh, the scars is part of the process. I see the same thing like with tattoos and stuff like that. Like I think that if I was really in a had a different personality while having the states of minds that I did, or different set of circumstances, I would have been tatted up. I'd have said, "Oh, I feel like this. Like I'm seeing this right now. I need to get this tatted." Cause I got two tats right now. I'm still considered naked to a lot of people, but in those moments, I would have felt like it was a huge relief or something like that. But I was going like for other things. I was smoking, and then even recently now, I'll be taking mushrooms and stuff like that, and it like be replacing, not kind of replacing, but that dire need for me to get a tattoo be going away sometimes, or it can be because
Mm.
I don't got the money for it. It could be a lot of things, but I'll be thinking like that sometimes. Like, oh, I'm cool. I don't need to do that right now, unless it's like really meaningful, like something overtake me, and I'm like, whoa, this just called for me to get this tatted. Even though I think that's the way it should be in my mind, or the way I would like it. I like it the way I like it. Cause I be listening to exile tattoo artists and stuff that be going
Right.
through apprenticeships, and they be like, I be feeling they vibes when they be saying, "Oh, don't just let anybody tattoo you," or "Oh, those the don't buy the tattoo guns off Amazon because the ink is not good on top of that." But I just like the feeling, like how people go to different. I don't know how I'm going in tattoos, but I watch a lot of tattoo shows. There was this one lady, she would go around to different countries to get tattoos by people that did it in different through different traditions. Like when they
Right.
do it manually, like they just hit every mark. Or so I
Stippling.
found that very cool. What's that called?
There probably is different names for it. I know it as stippling.
Stippling?
Stippling. Stippling.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on tattoos?
Fucking awesome.
Do you have a lot?
I have a
Couple?
few. I'm about maybe 20% covered, 10, 18% covered. I don't know. I got a sleeve and then some of my legs and my chest.
What's your favorite one? Or one
Probably my
that Mhm. I
probably my
think you was
hand
gonna
and
answer
my back of my
that.
calf. Uh I like color and then I like geometry and like mythology too. So the way that we see different things in our reality. Like True was just talking about what's 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 the use of worry or about the past, or what's the use of anxiousness of the future. And I think some of these things can be cast into archetypes of like experience of like a mother or a father or a hero or a villain or certain things. So I see without any judgment, I see, well, maybe it is judgment, but I see these things everywhere. There's all kinds of stories going on, and the stories that kind of over like the Metatron's cube, the Dia de Muertos, the you know certain ways things come together in geometry is just like accepted across the grand scale because things both birth and die here. So a respect of that, or I think that's part of like the coming of age we were talking about earlier. That there's a awareness or a respect or a love or a understanding, a hate. You could call it whatever you want. Um, yeah.
Nah, that's cool. That makes sense to me.
And so like different and it reaches into what you're saying about the time and the space though too. Like if it's right, maybe I've got 3 tattoos on me that I've got because of people, specific people. And
Mm-hmm.
like they got tattoos on their body the same day, or you know, it was because of a reason. So things like that can be made, or it's really whatever you make it to be. In tribal tradition, like there's like those crazy Samoan tattoos where it's
Oh, on their face and stuff.
like 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 it's that stippling, right? And they
Yeah.
just hit you so long, but that's a geometry, and that geometry means something, and it tells a story, or it gives information, or you know there's some kind of thing going on there too. It's not just lines and dots. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's really what you mean. Like face tattoos are getting big now. I think we're as a society we're being like putting it everywhere. Our thoughts were manifest what you're talking about today, to be or not to be. We're wearing these things of the duality. We're wearing, you know, this is a ceremonial character that we're inhabiting right now. You know, it's amazing and magical how I exist, and that is coming to the forefront. You can't hold that in a bottle. You can't squeeze your fist around it. You can't name it. That thing's gonna be whatever it is, and it's fucking crazy.
It is. It's what, like you said, it's life. It's gonna be what it is, to be or not to be. It's like this what I choose to be. On point. Cause I used to I see on TikTok because people be uploading their tribal tattoos and they be explaining the story behind it and stuff like that, and explaining the traditions as to why they got it, and they heritage and them carrying it on into the future, the story that was told for like thousands of years and stuff. So that is very
Right.
cool how we can wear it on our sleeves. Literally wear it on our
All right.
sleeves.
They took a cross section of DNA somehow with a microscope or somehow, and it looks like the seed of life. If you've ever seen the 7 circles that are interconnected,
Yeah, I
um,
seen that. And they say the birth, like when you're born,
right,
they
and
make those circles.
that's what our that's what our DNA looks like. So, like, besides, let's say, like any manipulation, there's things that just exist that we're gonna come in contact with, like dream state, like our wants and needs, like our battles and survival tactics and job interviews and whatever it is. Like you make it what you want though too. So that part of that coming of age ceremony, or part of our interests in skateboarding or drawing or scuba diving or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Though that's you. We're going to find out about you. That is this. Let's call it infinite in a aspect, but it's finite in this living space, and you can accumulate and destroy or whatever do you want to do with this thing.
Yep. And when you read and when you go back and read back on the chapters, that was you, as you say. That's what you did.
It's
That's
a
who you
trip.
are.
Trip.
And that's a good practice because people a lot of us, we see things in our minds and stuff, and see other reality versions of ourselves, and then claim stake to like that's who we are,
Right.
like right
Right.
here as I wave my arms around, as you could physically see whatever physical means to you, like all wrapped up in that world. Like it's still here. Like this is a character. It's
You ever
just a
seen
character,
yourself
but
as
it's a
somebody totally
character good
different?
indeed. You see myself as something totally. Did I see myself as something totally different?
Yeah. Have you ever seen yourself as something totally different than yourself in
In
a
what
trip or
way?
in a dream, or in a trip or in a dream, like a broom or a bug or another guy or girl or master
Oh,
cloud or something? Have you ever been something else than?
yeah, all of the above. I thought you was meaning like if I went into another world and then looked back on this body and saw it as something else. But yeah, as I could put the eye seeing things going on, yeah, a couple things. I do it when I'm walking even down the street and stuff like that. Like I would look at the tree and I would feel like I'm using tree or I'll even do a car as an extreme example. Like if I'm walking, I'll see the car and then I'll just start feeling like the car. Like and the person riding in the car and just like what the car made of, what does it mean? Like the brand, the way it I it's hard to say. It's just being. It's just being. And in psychedelic spaces and dreams and stuff like that, just playing off as other characters. And that's why I'm so motivated to write stories. Is because my if you want to say my anxious in life sometimes pop up say, oh, I gotta make leave a gift to the world or
Right.
something that's easy for me to do because they say oh try the easiest thing that come to you some stuff should just come to you and you should be able to translate it and that should be like what your ultimate life goal should be or not ultimate but like the easiest path like what you're able to flow with so for me I always have stories or other realities going on through my mind so I'd be like oh I want to write them down like if I'm just sitting there my mind will start coming up with stuff. Like it won't be like, oh, I'm sitting here. Oh, I need something. I need to come up with something to do. Or like it don't ever go to those states. It would just start
No.
envisioning stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh, I gotta do something, or I want to do something with this. Or if I sit there and it's a mushroom experience, I just sit because then if I try to do something else, I really wouldn't want to. But I would kind of just sit with it even more. But that's kind of how it is. And that's why I be looking back at the world and seeing how other people work with their energies to see how I work with mine. But now, as we've been tying for like the past couple years and stuff like that, and getting more into like self validation and seeing what really pop out when you just let yourself loose, or when I let myself loose and stuff, is like, oh, okay. I see another part of the puzzle now. It's another part of the puzzle. Or experiencing another part of the puzzle. And it's
Right.
fun. It's fun. It's entertaining. It has its flows, has its ups and downs.
Yeah. Where are the boundaries?
Yeah. Uh-huh. That's on letting it bounce at wherever it need. Uh you had brought up, he said, do you think entheogen martial arts school will work?
Mm. They've been working. They have been working. They always will work. I think what's secret in Africa is still secret in Africa. What's secret in what's secret in Japan or Russia or Croatia or wherever it is, those things are still secret. That's just a way of life. I mean, your eye doesn't see itself. So there's an automatic hidden nature to this reality. It's not that something's manipulated. It's not that something's trying to hold information back. Yet that is the manner of action. But just some like I can't see well through remote viewing, yeah, you can see Russia through through these things, but I'm sitting in a specific localized place right now. I'm not anywhere else. So part of this reality is actually happening in a sense.
Yeah, I was thinking about you saying Africa and Japan. I was thinking even in America. Joe Rogan's
America.
a martial artist. He take mushrooms. And I think
And
that
if
like his teacher probably take it or somebody, but they just don't talk about it. They probably says
and and if you do a sufficient amount of either yoga, meditation, or uh, psychedelic use, you'll find yourself moving in martial ways. This is just a understanding of energies present. Like our lungs breathing in and out, the way that our hand moves or our feet move or our body spirals or however our specific functionality goes for everybody, those things are immediately brought out just by sitting with them. I mean, there's evidence, and you can talk to a bunch of different people, but ninjutsu was delivered on the same mountain, Mount Kurayama, that Reiki
Kuriyama.
was delivered at in Japan.
Hmm.
And
Building
there's a
called
specific type
Kuriyama.
of mushroom that grows there.
You know
So,
the name
I
of it?
mean, what's that?
You know the name of it?
Mount Kurayama.
No,
K U R.
the mushroom.
Oh, I believe it's an amanita.
The Amanita.
I believe it's an amanita. Yeah.
I gotta type in mountain for the mountain. Showing the anime. Looks beautiful.
This same mountain delivered ninjutsu. Um, the African martial arts. There's probably martial arts wherever you go. Somebody has a way of operating, and either through intense meditation or paired with some psychedelic use can speed up this awareness. But it takes that dedication. Just like bench pressing, your body actually destroys itself to rebuild itself. People kick sand, people kick bamboo, to make their when the bones break, it breaks back stronger. It builds back stronger. Um,
Yeah, it like calluses up. If you like kick bamboos with your shin, it kind of calluses up and becomes thicker.
Hey, Master
Kind of.
Creator.
Same thing
What's
with the
up, Chess
mental
Ty?
state.
What's
So,
up,
man,
Exile? What's up, Block? Hey, I was gonna ask y'all if y'all could do mushrooms anywhere on the earth. Where would it be to trip out at?
I was immediately say the pyramids or Angkor Wat.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, some kind of structure. I'm not sure.
You gotta go to fucking like Antarctica, as far away from all the technology and signals as you can. There'd be like no outside influence.
That's how it is
Yeah.
in Chico where I'm at. Like I could go to the mountains and stuff, and then a couple miles out and take some mushrooms. I've done that before, and like the silence. And I grew up in the city, like in Philadelphia, big major city. It was it was so surreal at first. I was like, it's actually quiet. Like the only sound is my footstep. And then at first it had me wary. I was like, oh, a mountain lion gonna get me or something. But the more I went out there, I got comfortable with
Hey,
being out in that quiet space.
I've been to Philly once. Fucking their downtown area. That shit looks hella crazy. Like they had those old ass like New England type statues. Like that shit was crazy looking. They were hella tall too, like the buildings.
Yeah,
You
Philly
ever
is
tri-
a historical town
That
or
shit looked
city.
crazy as hell.
you ever tripped around any statues? Anybody here?
Uh
Nah,
no.
nah.
Just the ones in my house. Toys and stuff like that.
Right.
And I was like, "Hey, I see you." Like they was alive. So
Yeah, because
like,
that's crazy that you brought that up, Exile. Like you would trip like at historical places like that because I believe like when you trip at places like that, if you look at like the fucking statues or the hieroglyphics or whatever the fuck that shit's called, I feel like if you look at it long enough, they'll start moving and show you like a story of how it was intended to be viewed. You know, I
At
feel like all
15,
those hieroglyphics are really like moving if you look at it correctly.
supposedly at 15 grams, they'll start moving and teach you things. At 25 grams, they come off the wall and start teaching you things. At 35 grams, you go into the wall and start learning things.
Fuck.
hmm.
Oh no, I ain't ready for that.
The mandalas that they draw on the ground, the sand mandalas, the Tibetans draw. I think Hindu really people draw or make them too. Those are actual places that you trip with and go to learn from ascended masters. The magic carpets in Aladdin were made with a red Syrian rue. Syrian rue is also linked to this as well. But in the little flourishes in the carpet is where your ancestors would live. You would go to visit your ancestors when you were sitting tripping on the carpet.
Yeesh. And this is a question for all y'all too. Like, I know
But
y'all are vets
before
when
you
it
ask
comes to
that,
this. All right, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna add to that. I was gonna say that one time I was on a I got sucked into my phone. I think that's why I think the hieroglyphs and everything it will really bring you into wherever you are, like whatever your attention and stuff is at, and you'll experience that. And when you was talking about the stuff moving, Exile too, and Masters Creators, I was thinking about the experience that my girlfriend had on 5 grams, where she was looking at a blank piece of paper, and then words started popping up on the paper and pictures and all these different languages and stuff like that. And she was asking me, could I see it? But I didn't take that much because I wanted to like be able to be more attentive for the situations that was going to happen. And luckily I did. But she was able to see things on the paper that was in different languages and stuff that wasn't there. So like
Dang.
our eyes and stuff is awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, you had a question?
yeah, I had a question for all y'all. I was gonna ask, like, I know y'all are vets when it comes to mushroom shit, but what's the most grams y'all took at one time in one setting,
You want to
and
go
how
first,
did it
Exxon?
feel?
I did 7.5 my first time. And I think I did
Sheesh.
around that same amount with apes, but
What
it was
the
like
fuck?
it was like 2.5 grams of apes, which is like 2 or 3, 5 or 6 grams, depending on the potency. Hard to
Right.
judge, but yeah, no more than that.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to measure because I did 4 ACMO a couple times, and that really bumps you up to hyperdrive. Like the excuse- like when I took the little bit and I showed it on camera that one time, how much it was a bit. I remember you well saying that was probably like 20 something grams or something like that. I'm like having that comment section go through my head right now, and that was an awesome experience. But it wasn't my deepest. What I don't know what even know what deep means even anymore. But but yeah, it was a cool experience. I think I was on camera. That was the time I was with True, and he was on 4ACMO, but he was in he was experiencing a visual dimension at the time. But yeah, it's hard to describe. I was feeling more. That's such a lame term, like more like myself. But things were just trippy. Like the trip was there. Like things was moving around, twirling. Thoughts was thinking like a magician and not really staying held to one type of thing. Just allowing it to do what it does.
Hmm.
But
Interesting.
but the most extreme one I had was on the coolest one I had was on 5 grams though. That was the one where I sat in the
Okay.
darkness and stuff like that, and just allowed whatever my mind to come up with, whatever it came up with. And I done it a couple times after that, but that was like one of my favorite ones that I guess
So when you
my being
so
likes to
so
talk
when you
about.
sat in the dark, because I heard about people using that technique when they just dive in and they be in the dark room and stuff. What did you see? Like, what did the mushroom show you?
It showed me I'm always in the dark, but that was running through my mind while you was talking. It showed me that I'm always in the dark. But and the more I noticed that is like that's why the reality that I witnessed when I was in the dark with no sensory anything going on is like that's what's always going on. But everything around me convinced myself that it's real, but it is real. It is part it's another layer of the picture that I'm experiencing. But it's the same thing that I'm experiencing like somewhere else.
So it's all
Not at the same
somehow
time.
intertwined and connected.
Yeah, yeah. I always say that time. You ever watch the Never Ending Story?
But I seen it on Netflix. I just never tapped on it. But I know it's an old school movie or something like that.
It's when you had. I mean, it's a cool one where he was reading the book, and while he was reading the book, it was affecting what was happening inside the book. So he had to finish the book, and things was happening in his life that was correlating to what was happening in the book that he found in the library. So it was like both stories was connecting. So it was like called the never ending story and stuff like that. So it was that was the concept that I got out of a lot of my journeys when I go into the dark, stuff like that, and had the Wizard of Oz experiences.
That's dope, bro. The Wizard of Oz stuff.
Yeah, yeah, seeing the believing that it's a man behind the curtain controlling stuff and going down the journey of um what am I feeling that's upsetting me that I don't even remember, or something that I experienced and it popping up in like a magical way, like in a cartoony type way that people wouldn't really believe and say, "Oh, that just happens in the movies and stuff like."
That's
I'm like,
dope.
this is real. Like this is what's happening in everyday experiences, and it's been
But Exile, you said that when you your first time ever taking mushrooms, you took 7.5. Was that the highest dose you ever took, and then you never went higher than that, or what?
Right. I kind of got the message that first time, and I'd been connected or experiencing my own pattern recognition. You know, we have certain things that happen in our lives, and you take account of it and say, "Oh, that happens like this," and you can see it across. You know, these independent correlations, things happening without any apparent link or causation together. And so this imaginary realm builds up throughout your lifetime, and well, my lifetime, and uh, just the snapshots or the visual experience that was conveyed or what I'm experiencing now as a result of that is always present. Like Ty says, he's always in the dark. Well, this thing that we are is always happening. Like regardless of how we feel on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no matter how much food we eaten or who we're talking to, like this life thing, this reality experience is always, and it's really based upon your input too. So that never-ending story, the story doesn't end unless you finish the book. Well, part of your story here doesn't end or keep on going, or some aspect of that, unless you put some kind of input in as well. So input inside yourself, input in the natural world around us, like outside of us. And coming into, I think our language is changing too, because the experience of telepathy was apparent without uh, um, it, at one point after about 8 hours of tripping, and about 4 hours in, we all experienced telepathy with everything around us. And this was done with 4 people. So about 10 o'clock, we ate a pizza, and we all ate an eighth. And then wait an hour later, ate a gram, wait an hour later, ate a gram, wait an hour later, ate a gram. I don't know if there was more after that, but I know there was definitely 3. So it's probably like 6.57 is what my max was.
Okay.
After about 8 hours in, and that was 10 o'clock. So Fry's, the store opens at 7 o'clock in the morning. We go to Fry's and we're still tripping. I drive to Fry's, and we all grab stuff to eat. And but we did it separately. Like we all, it's like not even a thought. I'm gonna go get some donuts and milk. That's what I was. That was my go, and a banana was my go-to. And I'm I'm in Fry's, and I'm thinking, oh shit, I've got to find everybody now. I'm still tripping. And like, how am I gonna find everybody? Like immediately, I thought, how am I gonna find everybody? I'm walking towards the register, right? And immediately, as I'm having that thought, I look to the right and to the left, and we're all walking outside the registers at the same time, having that exact same thought. Like, how are we gonna find each other? So I know that this shit regardless of what we call it, we try to grasp our hands around it. We try to say go deeper. We try to say do this, and that helps. That for sure. What helps us? We want other people to help them. That's why we do what we do. It helped me so much. Why I want to make it available for it to help you. But sometimes in that aspect, it's like a monkey talking to a fish, saying, "Let me help you put you up this tree." So there's a time and a place, right? You can't really give that comes into the hidden nature of things too, right? Things are inherently, a fish doesn't live in a tree. Sorry, I'm sorry that fish don't live in trees. That's just part of this reality. Humans need to drink water, eat food, do certain things. And as we come upon this, sorry, I'm going on a rant. We come upon this like age of information that we have in ourselves. I have availability to look at Angkor Wat in Egypt. What the fuck? 100 years ago, I could never even talk about those things probably, unless I was a learned, a certain amount of people did. So like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
and
I don't know what
definitely because like even with American culture, how like they want us to be Christians and stuff, or that's the kind of religion they push. Like every other culture seems like to be like the devil kind of, like especially
devil,
with the symbolism.
demon.
I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? Like when they look at other people's cultures and they see the snakes or whatever it may
Right.
be,
Yeah.
they connect that to like kind of their stories in the Bible. Like these are the Gentiles, or I don't know the word and shit, but
Well, there's a there's
It's
a
so
there's a line that goes in the Bible that says, when you ask a man for a fish, why would he give you a snake or something like that? And I'm looking at that quote, it's like, well, the snake can probably go catch other things. You can use the snake for a lot of different things besides the fish. So it's like your understanding of perception is right there. Like something is inherently bad. Like just another, sorry, Ty.
go ahead.
Uh, the devil just barely got horns and hooves in the 14th, 15th century.
Yep, when they started relating it to the pagans and stuff in the Netherlands, or not the pagans, that's what they called them, but the Netherland nature traditions and what they worship, Pan and everything, it started taking
Right.
relationship to that shape with the horns and the goat feet and everything like that. That's where that came from. And I was going to mention it's so ingrained in America, the ideology of Christianity. I think it's a good puzzle. It's a good puzzle and learning experience for us as humans to experience and go through and get the meaning out of what's being presented to us and stuff like that. That is so is so engraved in the culture that in the shows and most scary movies they make it scary by talking about demons, by labeling things as demons and getting the priest and stuff involved like that. Like, oh, that's the most kind of scary movies. Like talking about ghosts and then they scared of because they don't really know what it means and they looking at it through like a Christian um lens. Like, oh, it can be as an evil spirit that's possessing people. But you take we take what we can get out of I take what I can get out of the experiences and things that they show and stuff like that. Still,
Right.
so I'm not fighting it so much, but still like, all
Right.
right, this is still like it's just another story, another comic book. Like I like comic books. I get into comic books.
just Ty. Have you ever been to Thailand?
Oh, I smoke Thai weed.
Thai sticks,
I had
right?
it one. Yeah, I had it one time, and somebody that's from Oakland that now lives in Thailand right now. I don't know if this is his name still, but his name was Blaxican. He was telling me the history about the Thai weed that I was smoking because he's an older guy, and he said that's how they used to always get their weed on the sticks. So that's a sync. He lives in Thailand.
That's dope. That's dope.
Now, Velva says, anyone thought to their self and they thought that maybe someone heard you only to forget that you were thinking to yourself the whole time. Yeah, thoughts get real loud. You're like, oh, I got speakers. And that's where the telepathy and stuff come in. It's like, man, these thoughts, how can somebody not hear this right now?
Right, because I've been on mushrooms before where like is it just me or does sometimes when you be off when you eat a lot of the mushrooms it feels like your hair is like kind of standing up
Like
like even the
goosebumps.
yeah like the hairs on your arms and your hair it kind of like magnetic. I don't know how to explain it, but like I was petting my cat and I was looking at my cat and it looked like his hair was starting to stand up and stuff while he was sleeping.
I don't know what to call it. That's that energy. I experienced it before though, but I don't know what it is.
All your little antennas are sticking out at once.
Right.
Yeah, that's why they say to let your hair grow longer, about 4 to 5 inches, and you'll start having natural telepathy. You can look at the Navajo wind talkers in World War II and documented history that they used to shave their head, but then they lost their ability to track and be use their kind of psychic abilities when doing that, and so they let their hair grow long. The natives.
Yeah, I heard of that too. That's damn near why I grew out my hair. I was looking at all the benefits, and I've been growing I didn't have a fresh cut since like the 10th grade, so I've been growing my hair since like the damn near the 10th grade.
Hey,
And
how
that's
many years
almost
is that now?
that's like I'm about to be 32, so shit, that's like fucking 17 years almost. Is it? Hold on. 12.
Dang.
No, I think that's 12. 15 plus 12. I'm not too good at math, but yeah.
No,
Don't
it
worry, it's a
works.
bunch.
It works. Yeah, I was watching a video that was reminding me of those facts and stuff that about the hair growing and antennas, and I was like, huh, because for me, I wanted to grow my hair out because I had braids and stuff, and I don't know, I kind of just wanted to grow my hair out. Like, I don't even know what internal things was going on, for real.
That's hella funny. That's hella funny you said that because before I had my hair got locked up, I just had braids too. And then I just left these braids on for so long, and when I tried to take them out, they were all entangled, and they were ripping out. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna leave them in."
Yeah, that was the feeling. Thanks. I was tired of getting my hair braided every 2 weeks, and it hurting and
Right.
pulling my
Yeah.
scalp. I was like, yo, forget
Cause
this.
I'm fucking tender headed, bro. I'm fucking tender headed. And going back to what Velvet was saying when she said that, did we ever forget we were thinking to ourselves the whole time or something? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, did you ever have that when you were thinking to yourself? And this is always before like a crazy trip too. Like I hear like a fucking voice yell at me out of nowhere. Like I hear it in my left ear, like hey, or somebody just saying some weird shit like that. But then
Like what?
that, like, you ever get on mushrooms and
I
like
mean, what was the
you hit
voice that said or the word?
like just hey or something or saying
Oh.
something like trying to get my attention, but nobody's like, and this will happen to me when everybody sleeps, so I know it's like, oh shit, that came from, I don't know where the fuck that shit came from, but then I start getting scared and shit, and I'll start having those kind of panicky feelings almost.
I relax with those kind of situations. I would do that. I'm thinking of when you were saying that, I was thinking of Zelda. And you ever play the
Oh, Navi, yeah, Navi, when
yeah,
she like,
no, yeah.
listen, hey,
Exactly.
listen, yeah, that's hella
Hey,
funny.
listen. I hear
Yeah,
those kind of
Zelda's
things all the time.
Yeah, Zelda's my favorite fucking Nintendo thing ever. That shit helps me critically think throughout my whole life. Help
But
me
that's who
solve little
we are.
puzzles and shit.
Yeah. We going on an adventure just because we can't always see them. That don't mean it's not there. But it's like
Right.
but that's why I like to play. I feel like that's my character. Like if I see myself like as like a
A Link,
yeah, a
a
link.
hero of time type Link. Yep.
Yeah, just add some more technology to the mix.
hmm
Because he was a forest. He grew up in the
Right.
forest.
But really, the Breath of the Wild kind of put it all together when he started having like that alien technology type shit. Like that was the first.
I was obsessed with that game on acid. That's when I first started doing acid, and I
Hella
had a
funny.
lot of free time around that time because I
Yeah,
was
loved it.
transitioning to California, and my rest of my family was over here. So I was just taking it and just playing it on the Switch, and it was an awesome experience beating the bosses and the lore of the game. Like you said, getting
Right.
all the weapons and puzzle solving.
Yeah, like upgrading and stuff. That's always been a cool thing about Link. He always had different weapons or upgrades where he could travel deeper into the realm of whatever Hyrule was, you know?
Hey, Big Chill. Good day. Good day. Yeah, it's a game for the time. It's a game for the ages. That's why it's still here, relevant, like still speaking to us in the way that it does, even though it was made of like 64 polygons. Where's the voice mod? Got about these things. All right, there we go. All right. Yeah, we was talking about Link. It was some. It was a thought I had. I was going to ask you about, but it escaped me. It'll come back.
You ever do mantras? You ever find yourself singing when you're tripping, or like doing voice, any kind of vocal stuff?
Yeah, and I had to actually practice that, Exile. I practiced that because at first I didn't like wasn't doing that, and I would practice in my regular day life when I was reading the magic books back in the day, like the Golden Dawn books and everything. They would talk about creating mantras, the center your focus on a reality or on a idea and stuff like that, and the like then let the world shape itself around what you keep repeating to yourself, but with like the word that you come up with. And that's powerful because like we always create in our reality with the words that we say and all the time with the thoughts that we say. So if like we can create some kind of center or a song like a loop of a song can be a mantra. Like that's what I like to
Right.
do to myself. The song last time really helped me out. The the one that I made of Mount Shasta. And I started playing the song through my head when a paranoid situation started coming up. I said, let me play a song in my play a song. Cause I could control the jukebox in my mind that's
And that
playing
was a
out.
song you created.
Yeah, that's why I went for it. Cause usually I go to the Rue Herb Apex Twin song, but I was like, no, this is one that it wasn't even like this one I made, but I just felt like, yeah, this one I made, like it's here for me right now. So
Right.
just started replaying it, and it's a loop, and then it just got me into be able to float while I was in that space, and then
That's beautiful.
transfer to somewhere else. And that's why like you hear all this stuff and yeah, yeah. I was looking at Velvet stories that she sent me on Instagram, and she was doing some. You ever do? Is it called mudras when you do the hand signs? Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
mudras.
Yeah. Oh,
Mudra.
mudras. Gotcha. I think those are pretty awesome to get in contact with too, even during the day, because hand movements matter all the time to like how we focus in our energy, even down to like I can give a word what I'll call real world. All of this is real world. I'm not even going to be separation monster right now, but in skateboarding,
Right.
I've been learning that if I flick my hands a certain way, it my feet correlate to the flick. And if my hands are not like moving and my arms not doing, but really like my hand movements, I was getting it with my shoulders and my arms. I was like, it even involves my fingers, and that's connected to like the tips of my toes. And
Right.
really, every time, even if I'm
Right.
playing around now, if I just flick my hand, my foot just follow and the board just flip. Like, yo, there we go. So I'm like, this is some real working magic. Like that can you can see results in. And it's like it's all my mind is relaxed, it's correlated, it's not overthinking. It's like, oh, I gotta do my hand. Cause when I am thinking about moving my hand and doing that, it's like I'm still working it out and it's not as fluid
Right.
or my foot slip off or something like that and it don't count. But then if when I'm really going for it, I just I trust that my body is going to do what it needs to do. And then
You seen
I let the
Infinite with
program
Mark
go out.
Wahlberg?
Yeah,
Watch
I
that.
watched it twice.
Oh, that shit, bro.
When he had the sword
It-
and a couple
walking on the
things too.
plane. He's like, oh, I can walk on planes.
Just tapped in. Just tapped in.
Right.
That movie was amazing. That movie was amazing. But that's what I'm talking about. That's part of the story of what I'm talking about. About just tapping into that state and then you just do it. And I'll be looking back like, wow, that was just like then I start feeling like I'm actually good. I ain't start feeling good at skateboarding till like 4 months ago. And I've been skating since I was 15. I started like, oh wow, I'm actually kind of good. And that's because the flow that I was paying attention to when I would watch them on TV and on stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, they really tapped in. And I look at their lifestyle, I look at their facial expressions, I watch their behind the scene documentaries, I watch the raw footage where they try like 50 times. I don't just watch it when they got the music on and stuff
Right.
like that. So then
Everybody
I'm
falls,
tapped
bro.
in.
Everybody
Yeah.
falls.
So then I'm now with my life, I'm like, yo, it's like that. Like that's the mind I'm encountering now. Like I'm in that field. Because it's
Fall
helping
down
with
6
everything
times,
in my
get up
life.
7.
And I'll try a trick about at least 20, 30 times. But now I learned that after like the 15th time to do something else. And then when I come back to it, like after the first try, I'd be like, yo, how did I just do that? And then it would like be right there. And then the second time it would be smooth. So it's real a balance, it's a cool balancing act. It's martial art, it's a different kind of martial arts.
Right.
It's like tying it into what we was talking about earlier. And combining it with microdosing, like I do mushrooms. I love to do mushrooms before I go out and skate and stuff because it allows me to not stay in that trying to do it over and over and over, even in my mind.
Oh.
Like, oh, remember to do this. Like while I'm in the air, remember flick. Remember do this. Like it just say,
Right.
forget all of that. Just go for it. And I'm like, yeah,
Release expectation.
yeah. Release expectation and just follow
Bro,
them.
does Just Tai do Tai Chi? Do you practice that?
It's ingrained in me now. I don't get up every morning and practice the movements, but when I was like trying to discover anything that would like get me connected to source and stuff like that, that was one of the things I was practicing. I was reading the books and the culture behind it and getting into the movements and the breathing patterns. And I was like, oh, that's why they do this every day in China. Like a lot of people wake up and they got the
Yeah.
horns and stuff.
Because in our neighborhood, we was seeing them wake up like at fucking 4 a.m., 5 a.m., walking around the block doing that shit. We was like, what the hell is this shit? And they used to gather at parks and do these slow ass movements and shit. But it would be like super old people, like motherfuckers looking like they 80, 90 and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just tap into that during the day. Like if it feel like I need to stretch, I won't just yawn like, ugh. I will get into some poses and stuff like that. That's what I mean by ingrained. Like, I just use it when I need it.
Right.
Well,
Hey, is it-
kinesiology, moving, that's thought too. So aligning, it's part of it's aligning your to drink anything, right? You got to be focused on drinking that. So with the natural movements of our bodies doing things day to day, the Tai Chi or that just helps build that thought and bridge mind and body connection. I'm sorry.
No,
Right, so-
that's what it does. It connects everything. That's why I got the tie in there, like you said, connect the mind, the heart, and the gut.
And you'll find yourself, like Ty said, doing it on a day-to-day basis, but in different aspects of your life. The way that you do something, your way, like can. That's what I was saying earlier. Is we do try to help other people. Hey, do this, and it's going to help you. Well, some things might show as a roadblock or might help that person,
Oh, guess
or you
what?
might be able to 50-50 down it.
Yeah. You just brought up a bad. That's how I hurt my hip 2 weeks ago. I was trying to practice doing it on rails as opposed to ledges. Is a whole nother story. But I was gonna say I actually have that sound effect. The hey listen sound effect. I added that to my soundboard a couple months ago. I really love that sound effect. Like that's those voices you talking about, becoming comfortable with it. That's why I like watching the shows, the cartoons that I like what's that one? Star versus it's an old Disney show called Star versus the Forces of Evil and stuff where she friends you would think the monsters are scary, but because that's where she from, like they're cool and stuff, but they come off scary to other people. But it's like things that we just deal with in other realities with our in her personality, the personality type that encounters what we call spirits or yokai watch. It's another show called Yokai Watch. Yokai means spirit in Japanese. And when he put on the watch, he can see the spirits that's around him. And in the show, they put it out as they causing things to happen and stuff. But he can talk to them and make them stop, and then eventually become their friend and stuff like that, so they can help them in situations in the future. I'm like, huh. I always tried to correlate those to my life, like as a kid, and looking out at the outside world as more than what's I can see with my two eyes and stuff like that. But believing in it and experiencing it is another thing, like you said, and that's part of the journey. That's part of the journey. But it's cool when you can find. I'm happy you can find a sound mind through it. Because a lot of people do encounter thoughts, and then they get labeled as just paranoid, schizophrenic because of the way they behave and operate in their daily life, and then they can't like handle handle just what we would call stableness and stuff like that. Being able to have some kind of foundation. That's why I like to study everything and see what's going on and what people have to say. 'Cause it's all one big picture. One big picture, all saying the same story in different ways, like having a starting point and then having it branch off in different directions. That make any sense?
Yeah, that's why. Do you think there's a, source? Do you think there's a
I think there's
source sound? Do you think there's a? I don't know if I can say that any other way. Do you think there's a source sound?
like a source of sound, like where it's something where it
No,
began.
not that question.
Uh huh.
Do you think there is a source sound?
Of being soundness, like groundness and foundation and stuff. Oh, no, not really. No, not really. I just think depending on because if somebody was born in another culture with the same like kind of thought processes of hearing spirits and some kind of things that people would try to put people in a mental hospital for America for, they would be like put in a different kind of position in society if they was born in a different civilization. Like they would say,
Or
"Oh,
maybe
this is what's
a different
happening."
way of asking would be, what's the sound of all source?
What's the sound of all sorts?
Because
Does
we're
that have an
talking in
answer?
certain, we're talking about mudras. We're talking about
Uh-huh.
um, transmitters, antennas, receivers, being able to, red is not blue here, so there are things that make sense. Well, if on that theory, is there, what does everything sound like? If you could, is
Oh.
do you
I
get
got
it?
you. Yeah, yeah. Like even if you even say everything is just a boom, like everything is a big bang or everything is a crackle, but the crackle is a part of a bigger sound. that's being made. Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
what is that? Yeah, what does everything sound like? I guess is the right question.
One big kahookaloo. I don't know.
Cahoodle?
We ain't gotta send it nowhere. They're just gonna. I don't
Everything
know.
sounded like a
I don't know. It's just
sounded
gonna
like a
send it to you.
clown horn to me one time. In a
Yeah.
experience when I was thinking about everything that had to do with the universe and all the overthinking I did and all the worrying and all the searching, even all the searching that I did, all the mushrooms that I took, all the meditation, all the yelling, everything. And then when I was looked at myself being the the literal one man band, like that was the vision I was given. The one man band and saw myself with all the instruments and stuff like that. When I would look at myself, I would beat the horn, the clown horn, like and I was like, oh wow, that's all of life right there. It's just a whatever I put on in a joke, a thing, a play.
And they
It was a
just leave
clown
it
horn
up.
for
Turn
me.
it off.
I think I had that. No, I don't have that. I think I had that sound effect. No, that's not it. Well, that yeah. But
You
that's
all
an
said it
interesting
could be
question.
like the or AUM. Maybe, but that ends, right? That's the only something that we can vocalize. And those are only 3 words or 3 letters.
Mm-hmm.
And red is a blue and change of vibration, right? But we can talk about them like they are separate. Like,
Yeah, I look at color as a feelings. Yeah, colors is feeling like you all is all is motion. But depending on how you feel is what you're gonna see. Or
So the
what it has to offer.
what does the color purple give you the feeling of?
I've been using that color a lot more often. And when I just looked up, I see streamer mode available and see the hike and that's purple and stuff. That gives me a feeling like open, like a open space. Because I was just working on a 3D project yesterday and I was making it purple, but then I added like a little more tint of blue to it, like to make it like more open. Just,
yeah,
yeah, make it
I
more
would say
open.
supreme comfort.
Yeah, I love purple weed. That's why.
Yeah, the joy it brings looking at it, like, ooh, the way it dressed itself up. I'm gonna dress myself up for you. And usually, purple weed, if it's good, if it was grown good enough, it has some good qualities to it.
Yeah.
How can it taste like garlic and peanut butter and cat piss and Oreos and cookies and how?
They really don't know. I used to think that they sprayed like a flavor on it. I was convinced for a while, when tasting all that exotic type weed until like I went to somebody's grow house and then it was smelling like that in the grow room. So I'm like, maybe they're not spraying it, but I don't know. I still don't know to this day.
They genetically modified grapes and they straight up taste like cotton candy. Like they don't taste like grapes anymore. And they got the old types of like
wanna taste
watermelons
that.
that taste different and shit.
There's an apple like that too. They call it the grape
A
grape apple.
grapple.
Yeah, I've
Oh
eaten
yeah.
one of them fuckers. It
How
almost
was
tastes
it?
like a plum.
I didn't
Genetic-
try it.
It was
Genetically
something to have tried
engineered.
for sure.
I didn't taste it.
Most of that is done with graphing too. Like when they just put the cut the branch off and add it to another tree. They just straight up take it
Maybe,
sometimes.
or maybe they put some shit like how like the nutrients that they put in the water and shit. Maybe it's like a flavored nutrient they're using or something. I don't know.
I
For the
bet that
weed,
shit's
it's
like
mostly
genome edited.
hey, that too. That too. That's why some don't have seeds and stuff now. And I was thinking about the weed, about the smell. I was gonna say terpenes and stuff like that. And I seen UL just brought it up. It's the chemicals and the terpenes. I didn't know if we were trying to go esoteric or chemical based, so I didn't chime in.
Yeah, the chemical profile definitely gives it and somebody's chemical profile in their mouth or in their body will let them accept or deny these chemical profiles. Some will like it more or have a discernment towards it. So,
Yeah.
but why?
I was gonna say
Why-
some people can't even
300
tell the
different-
difference.
It's just
And then-
one plant. You don't have a potato that tastes like a tomato. Like you don't have a corn. You have sweet corn. I'm sorry, Ty.
Mhm. No, I'm listening. You don't. Weed is awesome. I was just having the doctor go through my head while you was talking on the TikTok.
What's he saying?
I played it in the Just Laugh Now show, the last one. She was in a couple episodes, and she was talking about terpene power, and she was talking about even rosemary. How when you smell rosemary, it can calm you down because the terpenes that's in there, how it interacts with the receptors that's inside of your body. And then she was relating that to the terpenes that's in a different weed and things like that, the cannabis, and how it affects your endocannabinoid systems and other systems in your body to promote relaxation and be not stress and inflammation even. I was like, wow, this goes real far, since things that we smell. That's why some things make us feel sick when we smell it. Like, oh, dang.
Right.
And literally make you want to throw up. But yeah, smells is cool. You all said if you grow weed and keep the male plants away from the females, put all the energy into the flowers. Oh wait, I didn't
Yeah,
see the
that's
first
true.
part. You said weed doesn't
Yeah.
have seeds now because they don't let them get pollen and clone them for reproduction. If you grow weed and keep the male plants away from the, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, they don't
Sounds
pollinate.
familiar.
I have many
It's
tragic stories.
it's
Having to get
nothing
rid of
worse.
males.
It's
It's
nothing
literally
worse
a
than a seed popping
bulbous-
in your blunt.
Those was the days though. The Reggie blunts.
The bammer.
That was half the Nick bag was seeds
Yeah.
and sticks.
Yeah. Them bammer blunts.
But nowadays that
familiar.
is the deal.
That's literally the vulva of the plant. Cannabis is the only plant, not the only plant, one of the only plants that shows itself in distinctly male and female parts. There's a couple other plants that do, I think.
So
Yeah,
basically,
you don't
when
think about
a
that.
seed, a weed plant has seeds, it is basically a hermaphrodite.
And it will hermaphrodite supposedly 1/3 as often, 1/3 more. So 33% more it will have a chance to hermaphrodite in the future. But the plant has this function inside of it to elongate its life. So a stressed plant can happen in a lot of different scenarios. To nutrients, light, temperature. It's just trying to elongate its life, right? It's just trying to keep the gene code going.
Hey, y'all ever seen fools grow weed and fucking have ladybugs eating all their spider mites and shit? Or
Yeah, that's
having
a good
a
thing.
gang of ladybugs attacking the plants and shit.
You can buy them on the internet. The ladybug. I know some people that had to do that.
Yeah, that shit was crazy when
And
I
you
first seen
also
that.
you brought up you said the mixed male. I used to mix male flowers and eat the pollen. They have a spice to them. Oh, I always wanted to keep my male plants, but I never have enough space to be like they're not going to pollinate the females. In the future, we'll see. I got it. I'm gonna about that.
It's hella funny. I used to have this uncle that used to tell me to save me all my stems and shit so he could put it in his soup and tea because he didn't
Oh,
like
yeah.
smoking it. But he liked to use it as seasoning, I guess, for like soups and tea or some shit. I don't know.
I used to do that when I didn't have enough money and I was trying to scrape everything out. I said, "Yo, you can put this in tea." I still do it.
That's dope.
I know it's a lot of ways to get the THC in. Cause I'm learned from that same doctor lady that when you smoking, you're not even getting THC in your body. You're getting CBA. Because when the THC reaches a certain temperature, it converts to another chemical. So the only way you really getting THC in your body is when you eat it.
Wow.
And the reason why it comes more powerful is because we all know how it metabolizes in your system different, and I forget the exact term for that. But the chemical that it converts to when you smoke it is way milder than the actual THC that's in the bud to begin
Wow.
with. That's why I said, oh, that's why I've been hearing people be saying, oh, people wasting their weed by smoking it. You gotta just eat it. And I'll be like, what do you mean? I love to smoke, but I like to eat it too. But now I see what they mean because they probably was a doctor or real in their intellect mind already. It was like, oh, I ain't gonna waste my weed by smoking it. I'm gonna just eat it all the time. But me growing up smoking is I smoke.
Yeah. I wouldn't eat it like a real bud or nothing, just based on the fact that you ever like broke down weed with your hands or something, and then you had to touch your skin or something with it, and it'd kind of make it itch or burn, like the THC.
Not really, not that. But I had to
Yeah,
cut down some plants before, and my arm was all ripped up.
yeah. What
Yeah,
happens to my
especially
arms when I'm taking down
yeah,
plants?
especially like as a kid, like because I used to break down weed as a kid, and I used to play with my face, like as a teenager, you fucking touch your face and shit, and then it used to inflame my skin more, give me more pimples type shit, and I didn't learn until I got older. It's like it's all that THC in my fingernails, and I was fucking messing with my face and doing some weird shit.
Well, the resin glands are produced on the plant as a defense to UV radiation.
Wait,
So
can
we're
you say
eating.
that again?
We're
What's the defense?
the resin is produced on the cannabis
But
plant as a defense towards UV radiation.
never knew that. I love to smoke it. The more resin, the better. Protect yourself. And
How
then the
how
more
often y'all smoke? Not to cut you off, Ty.
how
Sorry.
often?
Yeah, like how regularly? You know what I'm saying? What kind of routine you got going?
Does this mean anything?
Every
Oh.
day.
Yeah.
This was full, like this was up here just like a couple days ago. It's between two people though. But yeah, kind of all day. But and it depends on sometimes what I'm getting into too. Like sometimes if I'm about to, I don't know. It depends on the day. Because if I say sometimes, I'm just talking about one day. So
Yeah, but basically, you're
so
not
average
missing a
all
day.
day.
You're not missing
No,
one day without smoking, huh,
no,
Ty?
nope.
You probably smoke in the morning as soon as you wake up throughout the day and have a good one right before you go to sleep.
Yeah, one that I passed out on the night before or said, "Oh, I'm looking at the computer too long. I gotta go to sleep," and I just put it out.
You should put that shit in a jar, a glass jar,
Oh
a
yeah,
big glass jar.
it usually is. It usually is.
Yeah, because the buckets are cool, but that glass is going to really make that smell bounce and cure it while you're
Mm-hmm.
waiting to smoke
Yeah,
it.
that KFC bucket, bro.
You
But yeah,
can
it's
pull out
cool
the
being
other
in
8.
California. YouTube, and I'm in California. But yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to put that disclaimer out there.
Right. It's legal to hold a vast amount in California. I don't
And
know how
cheap too.
legit. Yeah, I don't know how legit my little thing is, but I allegedly paid a doctor so I could hold like 10 pounds on me, but I don't even know.
Yeah, we don't even have that much.
I do. I'm over here in Cleveland, and I'd get my medical card. But if you get a med card, you forfeit your right to have a carry license.
Yo,
And
that's
it's
why
like
I
if I
didn't get
lose
it.
my fucking job, I'm gonna end up somewhere where I'm gonna want to own a gun. So it's like kind of real shitty in my eyes.
Dang. Yeah, they need
Yeah,
to pass
yeah,
it for
that's fucked up.
recreational.
Well, hopefully they switch that law around because I don't know the reasoning behind that. Like people that smoke weed are irresponsible or something. That's some bullshit, man.
It was a study talking about a race car driver, and it was it was something he got found out for smoking and stuff like that. So there's like, oh, it
Yeah.
gave him an advantage and stuff. And the doctor's like, well, technically, it should have slowed them down because he was high. But we see it doesn't even do that. So now what? The evidence is always in people's face. It's just for the times to change with the acceptance and go through what they want to go through with the politics and stuff like that.
Right, that's just crazy.
And us talking
So
about it is all part of the picture. We part of the energy of the earth. So us tying it all to,
it's like they would ban a motherfucker for having a weed license from getting their gun. How about the fools that do the other hardcore drugs, like all the other shit? They're not getting banned for owning fucking guns.
no.
Prescriptions.
Like prescriptions, fools are doing meth and all types of shit that fucks up your brain, and they're probably still owning guns and on some crazy shit.
That's very true. That's going to be something that has to change. I think that's going to change the more people talk about it, because it's like that in California too. If you get a lot
Well,
of
yeah, let's get to the root of it. Supposedly, let's go with we're talking about like in the U.S. Christians established this. Well, Cain supposedly killed Abel with a rock. So anything. It's not a gun problem. It's a heart problem. Like
Right.
so,
really
that's the
is.
root of the issue.
And that's fucking obvious. It's literally like insane when you get a full picture of some of the things going on. Like a lot of the arguments going around are legitimately nonsense. Like legit, within a 10-minute conversation, you could get to the bottom of what half of the people in the media are spouting. It's just like people don't have the time. It's just like I don't even get the fucking like you can sit here and talk about it all day. It's not going to change a damn thing. It's just fucking so crazy. It kind of makes me sad if I sit there and try to think about it too much.
It's all right. Flight balls, he be mentioning. He be saying, I ain't trying to get lost in no 2,000-year-old arguments. They've been that same argument for 2,000 years. Like, let's argue about something else.
They're arguing about this since like the Roman times. For real, what system to use? None of the systems goddamn work. It's literally the like.
No, let's just live. Let's live out.
It's apparent. Yeah, and a thought came to mind. Like no matter what, it's going to be communities and people working together. Today, tomorrow, the next day, next week, next month, next year. No matter what happens, that's what it's going to be. Raising chickens, growing food, breathing air, drinking water. Like those things are going to change. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So we need to come. I mean, people have come individually, and we can see martyrs in the past of different religions, different cultures, different ways of thinking, saying, "Hey, bringing a message." But it can't be done by one person. This is the struggle, which Block just said. It makes you sad because you see what needs to be done, yet it seems like nobody gives a fuck. But there are people, I would say 10 to 15% are cognizant, are aware of their surroundings, are questioning themselves and their inner thoughts and what that means and the perception. Yeah, go down the list. And then coming back and integrating it. There's half of that knowledge is wasted if it doesn't get incorporated. So what he was talking about, 10 minutes it could be resolved is because that incorporation does not really exist. We can talk about it and what it means to me. What the great things in my life I want to give to everybody. We want to coming to this Discord, coming to the Thai, coming to True's channel. Like being a part of people who are changing internally and externally, and then sharing this with the global world. We see this I'm speaking for everybody. I apologize, but we see this as necessary and integral and exciting, and so we take what the people have done before us and stand on their shoulders, and then create now in the future. So that's the only way it's going to happen. Just because the internet goes down, well, there's satellites in space, and it doesn't mean that people forget how to create a phone or create the certain things. So like all this fear of scarcity, like there's not enough. Well, there is enough. It's just it's kind of fascist in a way. I'll go to the root of it too, to say that everybody should live a certain way, that hey, we all should be nice to love each other. We all should not kill each other. We all should, certain things. And when you come to an understanding, having that assumed to anybody else is kind of fascist, and you're expecting something, right? So that's all I got. I don't know what to go with it, because we're dealing with this as a consensus as it keeps evolving. The truth keeps going on. It's not a stable thing in this reality. It's showing itself through our choices.
As it is. I was going to mention the song that reminded me like of what you were saying, that is always somebody, like how we say soul travel fam and stuff like that, or we knew each other in other realities and came here and we remember and stuff like that. It was and like when I get those feelings of everything is down and nobody else is going to be able to do anything and stuff like that. You ever listen to My Chemical Romance?
Yeah.
You know the song Welcome to the Black Parade?
Yeah.
Yeah, that opening line and stuff, like when he's when he's saying he gonna be able to go to the city and join the marching band, and will you defeat them, your demons and all the non-believers, the plans that they made? Because one day I'll leave you a phantom to lead you in the summer to join the Black Parade and stuff like that. Like whatever it is that people are always going to click up and do something. We always do that as human beings. So like,
Right.
I see that as being in this world and coming together to tie. Simply put, tie or going to True Channel, King Guy's channel. Shout outs.
Everybody's got to eat. At the end of the day, I mean that goes across all religion, gender, whatever it is. You got to eat. So we can solve like some of that. I don't know. Maybe
Like I feel like there's just a basis to human experience that we're cut off from due to like this separation of community. It's like we're caught in our own head. So we develop our own like intricate way of going about the world, which doesn't really mesh in with the actual reality. It's like a message I've been getting especially when I go in. I went in recently again for the first time in like pretty much a year, and I got the same message again. It's like if you get in these things in your head, it's like these things I should be doing in my life immediately to make my life better, to make me happier, the people around me happier. And then if you don't listen to those messages, everything goes to shit. It's like such an obvious formula, and I go into the trip and I remember everything. I'm like, oh, I got to do this, this, and that. And if I don't do that and I try to keep progressing, it's just never going to work. And it's like, I feel like everyone's got that compass in them, and like actually seeing it is something we're cut off from.
Hey, you're so on point. You're so on point, because I've run across that. Oh, you got something else? You got something else to add to that?
Like, I don't know where you're going with it, but it's just like I tried saying this on the True Trips channel the other day, and someone like kind of started arguing with me because I realized it's not like a rule kind of situation, but it's like even when you're talking to people that are on the wavelength, they're not trying to look at the piece of information to use you as that stepping stone, like you're saying. It's like all you can be is a stepping stone for where you want things to go, because there is nobody that can hold the image of how to fix this in their head. Not a single person has that. So
That's
it's
a
like,
good way to say that.
I know what you mean though by the connectedness and hearing something that like if you don't kind of listen to it, like I feel that emotionally. It's a show. You ever see the show Manifest?
nah, man.
I'm on season 3 now, and in that show, the plane disappeared, and it came
Oh
back,
yeah.
and now they having
Oh
all
yeah.
these visions and stuff like that. But in that show, they call it the calling, and in the show, things was happening like that. And I think it's still like up to you. It's not as extreme as the show. You know how shows try to make things even more dramatic than like things happen. But in the
just to
show, they
keep
got the
just to keep your ass drawn in, they always gonna put hella drama on top of it, just so you gotta
yeah.
watch the next episode. Cause that's crazy how shows do that. You like, all right, this is the last show I'm gonna watch, and then they hit you with some bullshit.
But they had these call-ins in there, and they hear it, and they don't understand it either. They like, oh, should I listen to these call-ins? Because the people around them is looking at them as crazy, but when they actually listen to it, it's helping them solve cases and see things about what's going to happen. Like the boy, he got like they call the most of the call-ins right now. Like when he drawing his pictures and stuff like that, it winds up happening later. But he don't know what he drawing. He just gotta sketch it out, or he'll build something and then it'd be related to something. And then over time, they learn to pay attention to his drawings a little more of what he was doing. So in the show, they're developing what you're talking about of what's going on or follow the call in. Then there's some people that got the call in and they in the show, I'm just using the show as example, they didn't want to listen to it or they wanted to take advantage of it in a way. Like the guy wanted to go on TV and say, yeah, I'm the one that stopped that knew where the all the bombs was and I saved the day and these powers exist and all this stuff like that. But everybody else heard the calling that, hey, like you got to stop this guy. So then they was confused and conflicted and stuff like that. But then it wound up taking care of itself and something like a bad accident happened. So it's kind of cool. Or the other guy, he was trying to repress his callings, so he started a church, and he disappeared on the plane too. And he was saying everybody that came back on the plane were like miracles, and everybody was looking at him like, oh, these are the miracle people. Like they died and they came back. They're very special. We need to listen to what he's saying. And he was starting a whole church. And the other guy was saying, why are you confusing these people? Like you don't even know what's going on, what these call-ins mean, and stuff like that. And then after a while of some destruction and stuff going on in the church and people getting too rowdy and trying to test people and test if people really going to die and people all the stuff we see today with kind of religion. The guy wound up actually finally listening to his call-ins and he was like, "You heard him the whole time." He's like, "Yeah, but I tried to suppress him because I didn't believe him and stuff like that." And then he said, "But we both here at this same spot at this same time for a reason." And then it wound up like being somebody that coincidentally or a synchronicity popped up that was drowning that they had to save. So like it can be a lot of things, but that show is a good archetype. Good storytelling with it.
Yeah, and we are storytellers. I mean, music and books are literally mirrors of our civilization at that time or the person reading it at that time.
Yep. I gotta drink some. But
And
yeah,
those
it's
things are always the synchronicity, the tysonicity is always happening. My first mushroom trip showed me. I took pictures of that in my mind. It's always happening. Like we just don't see it as a causality of the way this or duality of the way this reality is working. All the alities.
yeah, it's there. It's there. It just why is there or how is there. Yeah, I don't got those answers. I'm just with it.
It's happening.
Bring it on. Yeah, it's happening. Bring it on.
Just Ty, what's the most supernatural thing you ever did before you ever even touched the psychedelic that you can remember as a kid or whatever?
Kinda, kinda everything. Because the mushrooms, when I during the experience, they showed me how everything that was talking to me and everything that was going on was my experience on a big scale. To give you a broad answer, it was like that was my magical experience. The way that I was looking at the people on the TV as wizards and going out in the woods and imagining things, and the way that I imagined things when I was doing math and stuff like that. Like I would yeah, and stuff like that. That was all part of the process. Cause I always used to watch ghost shows and stuff. Like I always had a curiosity for what people will call the supernatural and stuff that's beyond like our natural senses, as some
Right,
people
right.
yeah. But I see it my natural senses as supernatural senses. And I think that's why I was going through something when it felt like it was cut off. Like, oh, I'm cut off from the universe. I'm just here trapped. It's like, wait, I remembered again. Like, but it's been. I remember one experience I can say for a story is when my girlfriend's dad had went to another existence or transferred to a tree, or it could be infinite amount of things. The piano started playing, and he was a musician and stuff like that. And it was playing like for like a whole 15 minutes. We was checking, seeing if it was unplugged. It stopped, and then it started again. That was pretty fun. And
That's
and
crazy, bruh.
yeah,
You just
and
made me realize. You just made me realize something. Musician, magician, it's all the same thing.
yeah, that's why I always get tongue tied. I be like, I gotta see who I'm talking to.
That shit is the same thing because these musicians they create so much magic. They can make you feel empowered or they can make you feel sad or whatever.
They can even make you feel like the song is stupid. Like, what is
Right.
this? And then you're like, what is life? Let me get back to it. Everything is magic. Everything. But yeah, it's been cool experiences before psychedelics. Because I used to think that I didn't study psychiatry terms like schizophrenic and stuff like that growing up. So my thinking was always based off of what I was seeing in animes and things like that. And then I grew up in the church, so I always like believed in the supernatural because we talked about the Holy Spirit and stuff like that. So it was always kind of tied in. But as for strange things, I probably seen it as so normal that I kind of probably forgot them, the experiences and stuff like that. like I do now. When people ask me questions, I'm like, I gotta think, but I know like every day. That's why I started taking notes on my dreams and trying to go live more often so I can get some stuff down. Cause I
That's
go through the
crazy.
I've been through a lot of things that people come on the channel to talk about being paranoid about stuff, being enlightened about things, and or being confused about a so-called enlightenment, or learning about breathing or panicking. I go through so much. I've been through so much, but it's fun. I'm like, that's part of the game. Part of the game.
Right.
There's gonna be more to come. More to come. Hey, little tweet the raw. It's been a long time, or no time at all. Depends on how I feel. I missed you, bro.
It can be really dense down here.
Missed you, bro. It's been a long time. Oh yeah. I just like to give examples too. That's why I play around a lot. That's why I love comedians. Dancing with the thoughts that come in your mind, so that myself don't get so caught up in myself as well. Yeah, they always
Words are
say like
magic.
people that laugh at their own jokes, like you got what's going on in their head. I hear people say that, and I always start cracking up immediately. Like just now, like I can't help it because I see the whole world. Like just go. I see other. Yeah, y'all creative. So I don't gotta describe it to y'all. Y'all know how creative mind going. Always on go.
Where you're able to transmit an infinite thing that is incorporeal, immalleable, not local, and you put it down into something that is, but then you're like some kind of like through words you're seeing my landscape, through sound you hear my mind, my experience, you through it's the trip. It's definitely magical.
I got some more magic for y'all real quick since we like in the middle. I don't know how much longer the show is gonna go on, but I have a animation that I didn't show anybody yet. I would like to show off. It's about 6 seconds long.
Let's see it.
Animation. We go to Chrome. Oh, yes. Same as the background on it. I'll play it one more time because it's so short, but it's awesome.
Yeah, that's dope.
And to make that, I built that all from. That's all just original. And that's a character that's gonna be popping up too.
Oh,
The little backflip, and that's a binaural beat in the background too. So if you got on like the right kind of headphones and keep it on loop, or it had that one experience, depending on your state of mind, gonna open up something. Open up some portals.
that
Little
purple
something else I can
character.
show.
That purple character. What is that? What is that?
I'm not really sure yet. Like when you said it, he was talking, and I just heard grind.
Right.
Like that's how he was talking. I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" We'll see. I gotta dive deeper into the world. I just like got a glimpse of it, and then like brought something back real quick. I got something else I could show y'all too. The animation that I made yesterday. I'm gonna make a full video of this, more proper. But this is like a behind the scenes of like the work. How you got? Of some of the how the work and the process behind what I do. Let me make this big. Like this was the beginning stages. I didn't really have any textures down. I didn't think I was going to record it. That's why I was not at the very beginning. But the idea had started with a door opening and then typing from that. So I just created the pad. I think I could just play this. Yeah, let me just keep skimming through a couple renders. Loss. It's already sped up, so this is like ultra speed. See how it is right. I think this was me testing out making the technology when it goes and keeps recycling from the top to the bottom. Testing out different camera angles.
That's dope.
But I don't want to ruin it too much. I'm kind of in. So you can see the world.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. Dang.
And I think this one I started working on. Oh, this one I created the crystal. Arrangements of it, different angles. The grab tool for those that you probably get into it in the future. Adding a subdivision so it can have more squares to work with, more surface to bend.
That's awesome, man.
Get into the nodes, messing with the shaders, trying to get a texture on there.
How are you with your method? Is it becoming easier to create what you envision?
Yeah, I did this pretty fast. And that was
Awesome.
one of the things that took off. I was like, oh, I got this idea, and I was already messing around with the magic texture and different things on different objects, so I kind of knew what to throw on there.
That's dope.
Yeah.
If you could create a video game, what kind of video game would you create, Ty?
Probably like a platforming game. A platform, or
Like
if
a
I really,
Mega Man type platform game.
yeah, yeah, like collecting objects and stuff like that. Or if I was really at it, I would want to make an open world Zelda type game.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
I just had to, yeah, I had to stretch my imagination that far. It's just that I tried making a game before, and I was starting off with platforming. But when I really get into it, I want to make like something open world and stuff like that. Something that just seemed real. But in the
Right.
process of that, you get into making a lot of other things. Like I was working on a VR art museum based off of art that I created and that I was going to collect from other people that wanted to participate in it, and people can visit it in VR. I got a couple ideas, but then it all got deleted.
How
So
about if you had a demon pop out on them on the VR just for jokes? Like,
hey,
oh, they were thinking it's hella beautiful. Like, oh, look at this beautiful room. Then out of nowhere,
I played I played the game um in VR. What is that? The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead in VR is is pretty rough. It's pretty cool. Because it's real technical with your weapons and how you gotta slash them and where you hit them on the neck and everything. It's real
yeah,
specific.
yeah, that's cool.
And they trying to put the old Resident Evils in VR too, trying to port them over
Yeah, that'd be dope.
in the work. But yeah, guys, I think I'm tie on out of here.
All right, Ty,
I'm gonna get some
bros.
more.
It was a great show, bro. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah,
being a
appreciate
part of
you.
it. Hey, you as well, Exile, and everyone out there in the universe. Wildman Ninja was here, and Block for giving your input, asking questions, answering questions. Little Tweet the Raw, Velvet Win, UL Adams. Well, Adamus. I can go. I can scroll up. Big Chill had popped through. Yep, we all here. We all here.
It's like they nails. It's like they hooves are they man.
All right. And this has been Santa tying on out of here. Just tie now, combine your mind with your heart, see what your gut mind is saying, connect all those three circles, let whatever come out, come on out. You can stream this on all your favorite podcast streaming sites. I'm getting back to updating. I think I left off on like 126. So I'm going to have everything updated by today. Part of the process, part of the process. But if you like in your car or doing something else and you just want to hear it, hey, that will always be possible. And I'm post the links too in the further descriptions from these videos and go back and put them in other ones too. But yeah, that's just business stuff. Peace.